I want to shout out Melissa, Faith, Kara. I'm trying to look at who else. I mean, all these girls don't have power. Well, I know, Faith, do you have power now? Oh, good. Okay. So they're just getting power back. Like, we've all been super affected by this hurricane. And I know not just us. I'm sure Tara's probably had a little bit of effect from it and things like that. And I think it's just amazing that everyone's made the effort to be on the call tonight, because it's important. I actually saw something posted in one of the groups that I'm in. A really top coach. I was surprised that she shared this, actually. A top coach shared that someone had been coaching on her team for 3 weeks, and they reached out to her and they were like, look, I don't feel connected at all. I don't feel like anyone's reaching out to me and supporting me and blah, blah, blah. And I've been honest with you from the get-go, and I'm really considering quitting. And the coach was like, it's been 3 weeks and I've had a team call in those 3 weeks. And I was thinking, one call in 3 weeks and you haven't had a one-on-one with the coach, and you haven't done, anything else with this new coach. That's what makes us special. It's what sets us apart. So I was really grateful that even with the storm and everything, I just want to shout everybody out who's making the effort to be on the call tonight, because it's important. I know that sometimes it can not be something we look forward to if it's a Sunday night and you're tired, or, you don't have something done for the week yet. But I think that it's really important for us to see each other and hear from each other weekly. And I think that this is a good thing that we do. So if anybody else wants to shout out before I begin, just unmute yourself and go ahead and do that.
I wanted to shout out Jackie. She has been putting some pretty awesome vulnerable posts out there, and especially the one I'm thinking about was the transformation one. And I just thought that was so awesome that she kind of let herself out there and shared some vulnerability. So nice job, Jackie.
Okay. I also want to shout out Anna. Anna has been struggling with her nutrition, and she is taking it into her own hands and doing the 3-day refresh. And I think that that's so important. She's being very vulnerable and transparent about why she's doing it in her posts. And she's completely got herself set up to be successful with it. And I'm super excited to see her results and to hear how this kind of sets the next piece of her personal journey into motion, because I know that the 3-day refresh can be a good reset for us sometimes. Proud of you, girly. All right. So comparison. So I'm just going to be completely transparent and say that I've been hurt by the comparison game lately. Because I've had people come to me saying that they're comparing themselves to me, and that is causing them to have hurt feelings and to feel like they're not a good coach, or to feel like, I don't know. It's a very, very difficult position to be in when you being you makes someone else uncomfortable. And that's what I've been experiencing. And if you know me, that you know that crushes me. That really hurts me to know that I'm hurting someone unintentionally. So this is a topic that I feel is super important, because I've been on both sides. And I think that there's things that you need to understand from someone who's been on both sides. So I'm going to share a little story about when I first started coaching, and when I was the person comparing myself to other people and feeling very defeated because of it. And then I'm going to share this piece of the story where I'm on the opposite end, because it's not easy on either end. And I honestly don't know which side is worse. But I think it's really important to understand that we all have been on both, most of us have been on both sides, whether you realize it or not. And I think that it's super important to understand that we all see that really cute quote, you know, like comparison is the thief of joy and all this. And it is, but it's also in this business, it can be the end all be all. If you continue to allow yourself to play the comparison game, whether it be where you're the victim or you're the bad guy, whatever you want to call it, then it will ruin your business. It will. So from the beginning, when I first started coaching, I was pushing for Diamond. Erica and I were working really closely together, and I was in a group with a bunch of other girls from the team Sweet Elite, which was our team for a while, before Erica and I branched off to Evolve. And we were all pushing for Diamond, and there was a girl named Tara who was also a coach, and she signed up around the same time I did. And I would say that we both had the same go for this business. We were very similar in a lot of ways. I saw a lot of similarities. I really connected with her. And she and I pushed hard. We took all of the things. We constantly communicated because we wanted the same things. We were trying for the same goals. And we were doing this one strategy where we were told to tag. It was called tag team. And essentially what you did is you tagged multiple people to get their support and to get your posts out to be seen by many, many people. And so Tara was part of my tag team. So I would tag her in my posts, not every post, but probably once a day. And at one point she reached out to me and asked me to stop tagging her because it was confusing her people, and her people were thinking that they needed to come to me and not go to her. And I understood that, so I stopped. And then Tara ended up hitting Diamond before me. And at that point is when I started to think, oh, I'm not worthy of this. She doesn't want me to tag her anymore. She hit it before me. She's going to be more successful than me. Immediately when she hit it, instead of being happy for her and celebrating her, I started to feel like I was not good enough. Like I was never going to hit it because she hit it first. I was not going to be as successful as she was because she hit it first, yada, yada, yada. And so I started to feel really crummy, and I started to kind of get desperate. You know, when you get desperate and you're like trying to find all sorts of ways to hit Success Club, or trying to like find all sorts of ways to get people to sign as coaches or to help your coaches. Sorry, my lights are going off on my car. I know you guys can't see me very well. Let me turn my car on. It got icky. It got really icky for me. And then what ended up happening is I ended up hitting it like 3 weeks later. And of course I wasn't less of a coach than she was. Of course I wasn't less of, I wasn't going to be less successful than she was because she hit it first. The point of it was, and it was a very hard lesson, but one I learned early on in my business, was that you cannot compare yourself to other people. Now she's not even a coach anymore. She stopped coaching, and she's reached out to me several times to talk to me about my success. And I've been like, girl, why don't you join us? Like, why don't you do this thing? And she's been like, I can't, because she got so consumed by it that she was constantly playing the comparison game. She was taking time away from her friends and family. She was sacrificing everything in order to be successful. So tip number one, don't look at what someone's posting on social media. Don't look at what someone is getting accolades for or getting recognition for and expect that they're more successful because they just are. There are sacrifices being made. There are steps being taken. There are things that people are doing behind the scenes that we will never know or understand unless they share them with us. So it is not fair for you to compare yourself to someone when you don't know what that person is doing. And then from there, you need to decide if you're even willing to do what they're doing in order to reach that goal. So then on the opposite side, sometimes you can be the person that people are comparing themselves to, which honestly is, for me, a crummier feeling than me comparing myself to someone else, because I would like to think that everyone knows that I'm willing to help, share, love, do whatever for anybody. And to know that other people are looking at me and feeling poorly about themselves, that's just the opposite of what I want to do in this lifetime. That is the exact opposite of what I want my legacy to be. And so to know that I'm making people feel that way is just, it's awful. It is. I have shed a lot of tears over this. And so it's our job to make sure when we're falling into that comparison trap, when we find ourselves constantly looking at someone else and thinking, oh, they're better than me, or they're more successful than me, or they're more this, or they're less this, and I am too much of this, then you have to know what steps to take in order to stop yourself from doing it. Because not only is it going to take the joy out of this business, it's going to ruin your business. Because if you're constantly comparing yourself to someone else and you're feeling like you're not good enough, you're going to do one of two things. You're going to throw in the towel, or you're going to start sacrificing the things that are most important to you in order to be as successful as that person. And you have to, last week I talked to you guys about defining your own success and figuring out what success is to you, and then making your marketing plan to fit that. You have to understand what success looks like to you in order to make sure that you're not comparing yourself. There are other coaches in this business that I can look at and say, oh my gosh, she's been coaching for less than me, and she's already quit teaching, and she's already doing this, and she's going to be an elite team this year. But this is someone who is not married yet. Doesn't have kids. There's just so many components of her life that don't match up with mine. I'm not willing. It's not that I can't, but I'm not willing to do the things that she's doing behind the scenes in order to be where she is. So it's not fair to me to compare myself to her. It's also not fair to her, because we're in completely different pieces of life. We're in completely different walks of life. I think that what you need to understand is that when it's time to do personal development, you need to know what you need personally. Yes, Christy, that is such a good piece of advice. Stop following the people that you compare yourself to. If you find yourself, like if you're following someone on social media and when you see their posts, they don't make you feel good about yourself, stop following them. Now, I will say this, that can be hurtful because I'm on the opposite end of that now. I have people who I really love and who are teammates, who are no longer following me and who no longer support me in my journey. And that's hurtful because I don't know, you just have to understand who it is and what they're doing. Like if it makes you feel bad to follow, oh gosh, what is her name? I've stopped following her, so I can't even remember her name. Haley Christian. If it makes you feel bad about yourself to follow her and see how successful she is and how she's going from like 5,000 to 12,000 followers in such a short time and stuff, stop following her. It doesn't mean that you can't check in on what she's doing. She's not on our team, so you don't have to feel led to comment and support her or anything like that, like her posts or anything like that. But if she's someone that sparks some, like you have some connection to, like you have some things in common with, then feel free to go on her page and get inspiration from her. But if she's someone who you find you don't feel good after you're on her page, you start to feel like you're doubting yourself, or you start to feel like you're comparing yourself to her, then don't follow her on a day-to-day. She does not need to pop up on your feed every single day. Someone like that for me is the Fit Life of Kate. She used to be a teacher. I started following her when she had her Instagram teaching platform. Loved her. She became a coach, and she has like gone through the roof with coaching, and she's elite already for this year, and she's just got an incredible team. She's got a 6-figure income. I know all this because I was following her, and I started to feel negative about it. Like every time I saw her stuff pop up, I was like, oh my gosh, why is she there and I'm not there? Like I was constantly comparing myself. And so I stopped following her. Every once in a while, I look her up and I go back and look at her stuff because it's really good. And I think there's a lot of things I can gain from her as inspiration, but I can't follow her on a day-to-day basis because it's not benefiting me. It's not a positive thing for me. And it's important to know that. It's also important to know, I was going to say this before I saw Christy's comment. It's really important to know that personal development is called personal development for a reason. It's not professional development. So it's not about making yourself a better business owner. It's not about necessarily making yourself a better coach. Sometimes personal development needs to be about making yourself a better person. If you're at a point in your life where you are struggling with comparing yourself to other people, then you don't need to be reading the 12-week year or the 5-second rule or anything like that. You need to be reading things like Grace, Not Perfection. If you have not read that and you struggle with comparison, that is an incredible book to help you with that. If you have not read Girl Wash Your Face, I highly suggest that you put that on in your Amazon cart tonight, because that really helps with comparison. There are lots of books, and we can make a list of books just to help you with this. But there are so many things. In fact, I actually just bought myself, and I sent this to Jackie, actually. Jackie, I don't know if you remember this, or if you went through it, but I actually bought a devotional where every day, it's called The Comparisons, gosh, I can't even remember the title of it, and it's at home. I'll look it up when I get home, but it is it called Comparison Trap, Jackie? It's a devotional, and you go through every day, and it helps you to overcome that comparison game, because it doesn't matter who you are, what rank you are, how patient you are as a mother. It doesn't matter how thin you are, how fit you are. It does not matter. Everybody struggles with comparing. And the only person you should be comparing yourself to, and I know we all hear this, I know that, but we have to get this implanted in our heads. You have to stop comparing yourself to others and start looking at where you were a year ago or 2 years ago. I look at my memories on Facebook every single day, because you know what? There are days when I look in the mirror and I am so mad at myself because I know I could be further along in my journey than I am. I know that there are things I could be doing. I could be running. I could be doing things in my personal fitness journey that would help me to be a lot more fit than I am right now. There are 10 pounds from Laurel, who's 2 years old now, and I still have those extra 10 pounds hanging on my body right now. I complain about them a lot, but I haven't done a whole lot about them. But then when I see a post from 2 years ago, or even from a year ago when Laurel was a year old, I realize, okay, I am doing pretty good here. Like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I was after Carson, but I'm doing okay. You know, I need to stop hating on myself. Now, what happens is then I see another mom or another coach out there who's killing it in their fitness journey and has like a 9-month-old, and I start to feel like I'm a failure because I compare myself to them, which is not even remotely fair. So that's why every day I click on the memories in my Facebook app and I make sure to look at where I was. It's also a great way to gain some inspiration for your posts. In fact, recently I've actually just copied some of my posts and then reposted them with a new picture from today. So that's a little nugget that I wasn't planning on sharing tonight. But I understand that comparing is very natural. We see other parents, and sometimes we are bad about it. Sometimes we see parents getting frustrated with their kids at the mall, and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she just spoke to him that way. And that's comparing. It's like the reverse of what I'm talking about tonight, but it's still comparing. You're essentially saying, well, I would never do that to my kid, which is crap. I mean, we've all lost our patience with kids, whether they be our own, our nieces and nephews, our students, whatever. But then you also see people like walking along the beach today, and you're like, oh, well, she looks a lot better than I do, and her baby's younger than mine, and that's crap too. Like, we have to stop doing it. We have to. And it has to be something that as soon as you start doing it, you stop yourself. And here's the biggest takeaway I want you to get tonight. Christy can attest to this. If you find yourself comparing yourself to someone else, stop texting the person who enables you to do that. Because we all have people in our lives when we text them, and Christy is the opposite of this. That's why I mentioned her name. We all have those people in our lives when we start comparing, when we see something pop up on Facebook, we can text them and say, did you see that she got 25 likes on that picture? Or did you see that she got this many comments or this many that? Or did you see that she did this? And that person enables you. They're like, yeah, that's such crap. You know she doesn't deserve that, or you know you deserve it more, or you know this. That's terrible. That is just as bad as someone saying, like, someone enabling you to do things like binge eat, or I don't know, you've got those friends who are like, oh, don't worry about working out today, you can double up tomorrow. Those are not the people you need to be texting when you're struggling with pushing play. The people who are like the ones that like to gossip with you about others, or the people who are like maybe feeling the same way about that person, are not the people you need to be texting when you feel that way. You need to be texting the person who says, stop. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. You are an amazing woman. You are an amazing mom. You are an amazing coach, and you do not know what is going on in that person's life right now. You deserve to treat yourself better. That's what you need to hear. You do not need to be texting the person who's just going to add fuel to the fire. You need to text the person who's going to put it out. And guys, I'm going to be real with you. For some of you, that's not going to be your best friend. For some of us, that is not going to be the person. I will tell you that I will text Christy or Sarah when I'm starting to feel bad about myself, and neither one of them allows me to keep feeling that way. And sometimes I'm like, well, damn it, I'd just like to have a minute to vent, but they don't let me do it, which is a good thing. Because I don't need to be doing that. I do not need to be wasting precious time worrying about what other people are saying, thinking, or doing. I need to be focused on the good. And that is not always easy to do. But I know now, if I'm starting to feel that way, I can message them, I can text them, and they're going to help put me in my place. Sometimes it means stomping on my toes. Sometimes it means loving me and telling me you're doing okay, you're doing a good job. Sometimes it means, Linz, maybe we could try something different and it could be better. Sometimes it really is like, I need to have a different perspective on things. But you need to find that person, and you need to develop a relationship with them where you're comfortable going to them and you're comfortable being honest with them. And you need to allow other people to be honest with you. If I got angry with them and like disagreed and told them off when they helped to put me back where I need to be, when they helped to realign me, do you think they would continue being that person for me? Probably not. And sometimes I text them things and I'm super uncomfortable texting them to them because I know I'm about to hear what I don't want to hear. But I also know I need to hear it. So I text them anyway. You have to be the adult in your own life. You have to be willing to talk to the people who are going to love you enough and who are going to be your true friend. A true friend is not going to agree with every single thing you say. And a true person, a true teammate, is not going to allow you to dump all over yourself and make yourself feel even worse when they know that you have a lot of strengths. It is no secret that we all have strengths and weaknesses. And a lot of times the people we compare ourselves to have very different strengths and weaknesses than we do, which makes it even more unfair to compare. And it's really important to have those people in your life who are willing to say, you know what, you're right, Lindsay, you're not good at making graphics. That's not your gift. But this is your gift. So focus on it. Stop focusing on the fact that your ebook isn't picture perfect, or stop focusing on the fact that your graphics don't look like Summer Tucker's graphics, or whatever. Stop focusing on that. Instead, focus on the things you're doing well. You have to have those people in your life. So if you find yourself messaging people and when you're comparing yourself, they're like, oh, I know, I can't stand that. She always gets all those comments, or, oh, I know, I can't believe she rank advanced again, or can't believe she's got all these people following her. I'm doing the same thing she's doing. stop. Either stop being that person who's enabling it, or stop going to the person who's enabling you, because we all have those people in our lives. Gosh, I'm guilty of it myself. I am. So we have to be the adult. We have to decide who's good for us, who's bad for us. I tell my students this. Your best friend is probably not the person you need to pick to work with on the school project. Your best friend is probably not the person you need to pick to be calling when you're struggling. So just be thinking about that, okay? The other thing I wanted to talk about tonight is, yeah, Tara, that's such an epiphany right there, right? Like, it's so simple. If you're really struggling, like if someone's really being successful and you want to know what they're doing, ask them how. Guys, I can't tell you, Marion Green is someone that I was following way before she became a coach. She was a blogger, and I was a blogger for a long time. And I followed her because I loved her blog. And I message her all the time asking her what she's doing. She's currently planning a retreat right now. Jackie and I have been talking about our team's retreat for months now. And so I've been talking to Marion, like, I've never been invited to a retreat. I've never hosted one. I've never been to one. I don't know what I'm doing. Marion is sharing everything with me, everything that she knows. We are in a business where everyone is very willing to share. It's amazing. It's so amazing. There is no gaslighting in Beachbody, which is pretty awesome. If you don't know what gaslighting is, you need to look it up. It's huge in education and it's awful, but there's that. But yes, pumpkin spice goes on sale tomorrow. I know that we've had lots of questions, lots of excitement about that. I made a little post with a graphic in our team page. I actually took that same graphic and posted it in our challenge group tonight. And all I posted was, if you want in on this awesomeness, tag your coach in the comments, because people don't realize that pumpkin spice is coming out if you haven't been talking to them about it. And the people who are in our challenge groups are probably the ones that would be most interested, since they're already in love with Shakeology. And everyone except Skylar is in love with pumpkin spice. But yeah, I think that this is a great opportunity to share what's coming with people. I stole a post from Heather, who may have stolen it from someone else on our team. I don't know. Literally copy and pasted it and put it on my own page tonight about pumpkin spice Shakeology coming out. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on Heather's page and it's on my page. But definitely be sharing pumpkin spice. I know that we're no longer doing our launch sale. Instead, we've turned it into the Clean Up Your Pumpkin Spice Latte group, Clean Up Your PSL. It's the same group as what our launch was going to be in. But it doesn't mean you can't send links out. Unfortunately, I looked right before the call. The link is still not created. It's still not been shared. And it will not be live for the East Coast until 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. So I'm actually scheduling a break in my drive tomorrow at 1:30 so I can send out my links, since I'll be trying to go home tomorrow. And I just want you to be aware, you still can send links. There's just no guarantee that they're going to get it if they don't sign on and purchase immediately. If you're interested in purchasing pumpkin spice, and I know for me, I'm going to purchase 3 boxes. There's 14 packs in a box. I'm going to purchase 3 so that I have enough to sell to people for the Clean Up Your PSL packages, which I'll pop in the team page at some point this week and share a little bit more about that with you guys. I don't want to keep us on the call for much longer to talk about that, but just be aware that you are allowed to sell them for $5 each. You're allowed to purchase and then create packs of 5 or packs of 7 to sell to people. For the PSL group, I plan on doing a pack of 7 with pumpkin spice, vegan cafe latte, and vegan vanilla so that I can teach people how to make fall flavors with them and give them a variety. I do have some packets of vegan available if any of you want to purchase them from me, if you don't want to purchase an entire box yourself, because somehow Beachbody screwed up my order last month and sent me a barista thing instead of my chocolate. But I just kept it because I knew we were going to do this instead of going through the hassle. But definitely it goes live at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can send the links. I would just keep checking the back office to see when they create the link. Don't forget to put your coach ID at the end of the link. You'll probably also be able to use share a cart for it once it goes live. That may be easier. Trying to think of what else. If you have any questions about pumpkin spice, throw them up in the comments real quick, or the chat real quick, so I can touch on them. But really, you're allowed to buy 5 boxes at a time. You're allowed to buy 20 per business account, which I don't know if anyone's interested in buying that many, but that's what you're allowed to buy. It is about $75 for a customer, and it's like $55 for a coach for 14 packets. A lot of coaches have been telling me that they have customers signing up for the discount just to save money on pumpkin spice. So if you've got someone who's interested in buying multiple boxes of pumpkin spice, you may want to say, do you want to go ahead and pay the $40 coach fee and then purchase your boxes so that you get the discount on them? Maybe a way to get a discount coach signed up if you're trying to rank advance. I can't think of anything else to share other than that. Do you guys have anything you have questions about or anything like that? I did see this really good video the other day, and I know I've said this on team calls before, but it really kind of reinstated it in my mind, where you have to remember that sometimes we have people in our lives that love us, but they're not always best for us. It doesn't mean that we can't be friends. It doesn't mean that we don't like them, but sometimes it means that they're not for us. They don't necessarily want to see us succeed in all walks of life. And so as hard as it is to acknowledge that and take care of it, however you need to take care of it, it is important to do, not just for your business, but for your heart. You want, I'm reading Mary Blake's comment about her sermon at church about owning your emotions, guarding your heart, and fixing your focus. Sometimes the people we love aren't what's best. They're not necessarily helping us to stay focused and guard. Sometimes they're hurting us more than they're helping, which can be hard to come to terms with. But if there are no questions, I am going to end this meeting. And I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to sit here in McDonald's parking lot long enough to upload it tonight. It will probably be done when I get to a hotel tomorrow, or cross your fingers, pray for me, please, that I make it home tomorrow. We'll see. But if there are no questions, I'll go ahead and let y'all go. Hard to do while at work. Yeah, Jackie, this is going to be really hard to do while at work. It's going to be hard for me too. I have to stop and find a rest area to try to send this stuff. Thank you, Mary Blake. Alrighty. Love you, ladies.